So recently I posted publicly a tier list I made for Adult Swim shows. And since I like to just openly say what I'm thinking about on these, I thought why not just make a casual, conversational, relaxed, hopefully not stressful to do series, just simply talking about all in my placements and the reasoning for it and what I think and such. So I'm doing that now. And each tier will have its own video just so I can reasonably make this. Longer tiers such as D, C, and B might get two parts, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see when it happens. Anyway, just some more specifications before I start with F tier is that, for one, this tier list that I used did have everything. It's just that there's an invisible tier that I cut off to make things more legible that has not seen or hardly remember, and that was big on my list, so if there's something not on here that you see, then it's in that tier. And I have nothing to say about that show, obviously, because I never said it. Also, I don't think this tier was updated past 2020, like Bird Girl's missing from it and Smiling Friends were missing from it. But with that, I would also just like to clarify that obviously this is my tier. I didn't organize everything just purely from an unbiased critical standpoint of yes, this one is the best, this one goes here. A lot of it has to do with personal attachment and reminiscing about it with friends and what they think and nostalgia and all of that junk, especially once we get to the higher tiers. And then lower tiers are just stuff I either hate or just simply am super indifferent to. But I think that clarifies everything that you need to know about this first, so with that out of the way, let's start with F tier. Oh yeah, and one more thing, the tiers inside themselves are organized too. What I mean by this is everything inside the tier as tier lists work normally is that everything amongst the individual tiers are ranked, so bottom of D tier, for example, is going to be weaker than top of D tier. Yeah, you guys understand how this all works. Okay, now, finally, let's get started with this. And we're going to begin with F tier, the very bottom of F tier, the absolute worst of the worst. $1 Million Extreme presents. I don't even want to fucking say the whole thing, because fuck this show. I don't know what they were thinking, how this got greenlit, and why it fucking had to last at all. I believe it got canceled after 3 episodes. It's made by a complete fucking piece of shit man-child. Fucking twat. Yeah, this episode is going to be a really cynical first impression, but it will get better as it goes on, I swear. But yeah, it's unfunny, it's fucking stupid, it's offensive, it's all that. I don't know why they allowed it to happen in the first place. It rightfully got pulled off the air, and the fucking traitor fucking whined about it as far as I know. But I don't want to fucking talk about this anymore, because I fucking hate it. And the next worst, which may be just slightly more tolerable, is fucking Minority. Another one I don't even want to really say out loud. And like the previous show, this one is also fucking stupid, unfunny, shitty, offensive, it's racist. I'm sure it has many other bigotry elements. I at least can understand a little bit more why this one got greenlit as opposed to the last show. This one came on 10 years before the previous one did. So maybe they were just thinking at the time, oh, haha, we're Adult Swim, we gotta put on the edgy shit, and then, a little bit later, they, wised up, and are wait, no, this isn't funny. And luckily, it seems like they've erased this from their own personal history, and good on them, because this looks and feels like it was written by and drawn by a fucking idiot 10-year-old, which probably won't be the last time I say this about a show on the list. But those are the worst two off the way, okay? So the qualifications for F tier is that these are so bad that I would rather stab my eyes out than have to watch much of these shows. And then by the time we get to D tier, I can at least tolerate it a bit more, and it's maybe not to that extreme. There's somewhat of a wider gap between F and D than the other tiers. But those two are so bad, I almost considered putting them in their own tier below F. Maybe like F minus or something, or FF. That fits the tier list more. But I don't know, I guess it shouldn't matter much, but I guess I didn't do it just because I didn't want to fuck up the community rankings, but who cares besides me. But anyway, with that off the way, let's get back to the next one, which is mostly for millennials, and I think just saying that title alone is why I put this here, and why I really don't feel like giving the show much of a chance. I think it probably already ended, rightfully so, don't know why it got picked up. And I don't know what the fucking deal with that stupid title is, and yeah. And after that is Sit Down and Shut Up. So this is probably like the least like offensive of the ones in F tier, but this was originally on Fox. It got ended really fast. I don't even know why I remember seeing it on Fox. I wish this show would leave my mind. And for whatever reason, like years later, Adult Swim was like, hey, let's pick up this one. And they fucking got rid of it just as fast. I don't know what they were expecting. I mean, like, it's hideous to look at. That's probably why I put it in F tier and gouge my eyes out here. And otherwise, it's just another example of something that's really fucking unfunny and bland. And yeah, I don't think a single person on Earth likes this show or anywhere in the multiverse. And after that is King Star King, the epitome of just really badly doing stupid, gross, random, quote-unquote, shock humor shit. And yes, I get it. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be random nonsense. And, well, yeah, but even with that, it still has to be good. You still have to know how to make random shit funny or paced well and stuff. But if you're not going to do that, then it's just going to be unfunny and fucking horrible to sit through. And this does it for me. And after that is YOLO Fantasy Crystal. And like the show I talked about a little bit ago, I don't know what the fuck this title is supposed to be. Can you blame me for not wanting to give this much of a chance after only seeing a little bit? I actually totally fucking forgot about this after they were done showing like promos for it, which wasn't that long ago. So yeah, that should probably tell you enough. I don't know if this is already over or not. I would be surprised if it's not. But yeah, I don't know if this is like 2013 or 12 or something, but I feel like even if it was those years and this came out, it would be even worse. And after that is the oldest show on here, Assy McGee. This is the one like mid-2000s like Kool-Aid show that got put in F tier. And I'm pretty sure Adult Swim just like also like threw this out along with like the shows at the bottom of this tier. Like they don't acknowledge it anymore. It's not on any of their services or on demand or anything with everything else. And it's not like there was anything like blatantly like super fucking like offensive or like bigotry or incel like in those last two shows at the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if this did contain it if you watched it, but yeah. And when this was like having bumpers and shit on the channel, I was only like 7 or 8 at the time. But even me at that age who thought like, oh haha, diarrhea, fucking hilarious. I saw this, and even me at that age thought, this just looks fucking stupid and idiotic and dumb. And I guess it checks out because even people back then seem to hate this show. In recent news, some of you may have seen that Wang talked about this like cartoon that was lost for a while on the web that was like about Vince McMahon's ass being alive. And that cartoon actually aired before Assy McGee. But the creators of Assy McGee fucking tried suing them for stealing their idea, quote unquote. I don't know why you would want to be the one that has fucking credit for this, but nah, like, that's just so fucking immature and dumb and wrong. Like, first of all, as I just said, the Vince McMahon one came on first. I'm not saying it's good, by the way, but that came on first. And also, they should fucking know that's not how making cartoons works. It's just like, no, you can't just fucking slap it together in like a day. Unless you're like fucking modern South Park or some like lazy web animator. But yeah. And even back then, people were going like, hey, did you see that shitty Adult Swim show that's trying to take this down? But I think that's more than you have to ever talk about Assy McGee in your entire lifetime. And next up is the show that I saw the least of here, which is Unsupervised, and this one is so forgettable. I forget when this aired on them. I think it was more recent, and I don't know, again, what the fuck. It's just another thing, like, what are they thinking when they fucking air this? But yeah, it's just so fucking ugly and bland, and just seeing the trailers, like, make you fucking cringe, which is why I put an F tier. Like, it's maybe, like, a core step up visually, and, like, I don't know, like, feel-wise, as those, like, super awful, generic, quote-unquote, adult shows that you see, like, fucking get, like, half a star all the time, and yeah, like, it took this, like, quarter of a step up above it, but then it, like, fell on the way. Next up is Mr. Pickles, and this is probably going to be the one show in F tier where there's probably going to be, like, somebody who is like, what are you talking about? No! But no, this is fucking F tier where it belongs. Like Kingstar King, this is another thing that, like, fucking, it's just trying both simultaneously somehow way too hard, but also not at all, to be like shocking and oh yeah, ugly, yeah, blood, yeah, shocking graphicness, yeah. And no, it's just fucking idiotic. It's just stupid. It's not funny. And frankly, I don't think I want to talk much more about this. I'm probably exhausted from talking about these shows because I did like a test draft of this tier beforehand. But anyway, we're finally about to end because we're at the top of F tier, the best of the worst, and that is Your Pretty Face is Going to Hell. Now, when I first did like the first draft of this tier, this is actually an D tier. But then after thinking about it more and like also hearing what my friends were saying about it and shit, I got influenced enough to put it at the top of F tier instead. Originally just because like everything about this show just screams like super low quality and boring and not entertaining and kind of annoying and shit. Now that alone would almost just kind of put it like at the bottom of D tier where it was before, but then I started to think about just how much they would fucking over-promote the show, and specifically this one really annoying bump where fucking like over-hamming it up, he went like, what just happened? And having to remember that and see as much as I did back then, that was like, okay, you just fucking blew it, you're going in F tier. But yeah, that about does it. Sorry, that was as, like, cynical and angry and insulting and rude and unflattering as I've ever been on the channel, but that was just for F tier alone, so don't get too, pushed away from this, because next up is D tier, and I'm just mostly gonna be, like, indifferent and brief and be a little bit more light on the criticism for most of the shows for those, so yeah, stay tuned.